Good evening to our viewers. We welcome you to the National Crime Prevention Program webinar series, Keeping Our Communities and Families Safe. Thank you for joining us again. This is the 6th of 8 sessions continuing every Tuesday and Wednesday until July 8. Please visit our social media platforms NCPP TNT for further details and to register. I am Betty Ann Moses, the Senior Corporate Communications Officer for the National Crime Prevention Program. Today we will be discussing personal, home, and business security. The National Crime Prevention Program is designed to engage, educate, and empower persons to work with each other in order to achieve safer and more resilient communities, as well as an improved standard and quality of life. Empowerment, community cohesion, and mobilization are key factors in creating a national culture of crime prevention. We all know that crime can affect everyone, irrespective of age, gender, ethnicity, religious background, or political views. For this reason, education, awareness, and the implementation of effective crime prevention strategies should be a high priority for all citizens to effect meaningful change in this area. Session 6 and 7 will focus on preventative measures as they relate to personal, home, and business security. To provide more information on this relevant topic are Sergeant J.C. Small and Mr. Darren Carmichael. Sergeant Small is US qualified in advanced community policing and international best practice in countering violence extremism. He is also a trainer in advanced community policing techniques. Sergeant Small is the officer responsible for community policing in the Community Relations section at the Central Police Division. His passion for fulfilling the objective of the TTPS to make every place in Trinidad and Tobago safe has led him to work with the Central Divisions, particularly with Mr. Darren Carmichael of Community Defense. Together, they have established neighborhood watch groups throughout the Central Division in order to proactively prevent and reduce crime by partnering with residents. Our next speaker is Mr. Darren Carmichael, who is a security advisor with one of the region's largest security firms. He is a public safety and operational risk management professional with over 30 years experience in the field of corporate security, fraud risk management, and operational risk. He's a certified fraud examiner and a trainer with training experience in several disciplines spanning the entire security spectrum. Mr. Carmichael is the founder and executive director of Community Defense Services Limited, which is dedicated to spreading public safety and security awareness through its groundbreaking community outreach program called CSAFE. In 2019, he was the recipient of the Hummingbird Gold Medal Award for his commitment to public safety initiatives throughout the Neighborhood Crime Watch program under the auspices of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Commerce. He is also the director of Crime Stoppers Trinidad and Tobago. You are encouraged during this session to post your questions and comments, and at the end, time permitting, we will seek to answer most of them. Education and awareness is key in taking care of your personal, home, and business security. So stay tuned. Let's work together to create a national culture of crime prevention. We cannot do it alone, but we can do it together. We will now hear from Sergeant J.C. Small and Mr. Darren Carmichael.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're here today to discuss personal and home security. And it's something that we will need to really get ourselves, make ourselves comfortable. And as soon as you do that, I want you to next take your phone, the link that you would have used to join this chat. I want you to be able to copy that link and send it to all the people you care about and love, because they need to be here as well. It's important that what we discussed today, that you share, that you partake, that you get as much in as possible. And of course, what we'll be doing is repeating some of this at the next occasion. All right, so we're going to go straight into the slide, I have Mr. Small here as well, and he will be one of the persons who will be able to, he will be one of the persons who will be able to take some of what I'm saying and elaborate where possible and give you an entire new dimension. So we're going to split it up into two sections today. I will first treat with the Neighborhood Crime Watch, how it's set up, what you do to get active, what you do to get involved, the importance of Neighborhood Crime Watch on the entire scene, and Mr. Small will speak to some of the personal safety and security issues with respect to your home, person, when commuting, and on your vehicle and so on. All right, so we're going to go straight into it. First off, the Neighborhood Crime Watch program, the CSAFE initiative, is really in collaboration with a number of stakeholders. The primary one being the police, because a lot of what we do in Neighborhood Watch, we have to depend on the police to action most of it. Crime Stoppers is an active player, a stakeholder in the program. As you know, we normally would promote the 800 tips number, 800-8477, and the tagline is, we don't need to know who you are, we just need your information. Community Defense is really the platform upon which the CSAFE initiative was launched, and it continues. All right, so to get further into it, we will go straight into the Neighborhood Watch, and you see that sign here, the power of unity. A lot of what we're going to talk about today speaks to us coming together, staying together, working together, and of course, participating. I am of the firm belief that safe neighborhoods aren't built, but they are made safe by the people who live and work in them. That means you. Very often we feel that high walls and barbed wire and burglar proof is enough to get us out, to keep the criminal out. But reality is that the persons who really stand between the criminals succeeding or not is really you. Your attitude, your commitment, some of the things you do, some of the cultural things that we've been accustomed to doing, some of which is very unsafe. And hopefully today, by the end of this program, you're going to get as much as we can give you about what you can do to keep yourself and your community safe. So let's look at where we are. Where we are now. Crime is really on most people's lips, whether it ought to be there or not. The point is, a lot of us look and measure crime and the crime statistics to determine whether we feel safe as a community. That's the number one concern. And if you look at just the events over the last 48 hours, you realize that, of course, that is going to be in the air for a little while longer. And certainly this program is very timely. And I want us to explicitly commend the National Crime Prevention Program for taking this initiative. In fact, the initiative over the last few presentations to bring all of this information to you, the public, which is really necessary. People, you now operate in many different communities. So even if you were to be living in an area that you felt was relatively safe, what has happened over time is that we move through many different communities that overlap. So for instance, if your home area was safe, but you have to leave to travel to work, you have to visit or you visit extended family. You go shopping, probably in a mall or some shopping center. We recreate where there's a playground. You go to church. Some of us do partying, and others are professional associations and clubs and so on, after work and on weekends and so. And of course, hobbies like football, chess, whatever you do. So all of these activities take you through many different territories, many different neighborhoods. And therefore, we want to let you know that you're not only concentrated on where you live or where you work, which may be safe, but certainly all the places in between that are commute. So your mind must be thinking like that. Let me just touch on some of this, because sometimes it's important to know why we do what we do. And I want to just touch on some of the factors that the experts say influence crime. Poverty and unemployment, inadequate policing presence, response, or protection may have an impact on crime. The court system, whether the laws are inadequate, the sentencing is not enough, there are durations in terms of people go to court and the cases are not being called and so on. Peer pressure and family influence has had an influence on crime and criminal behavior. The influence of modern technology A lot of us see things on television, video games, and so on, and we mimic those things. Social media, we mimic those things that we see. All right? Relatively easy access to firearms, narcotics, illicit goods, and so on. All of these things have bearing on what we are seeing now, that is crime. Of course, on the human side, there's a decline in moral and spiritual values. The age of the population has an impact. Who's in and out of jail has a significant impact. Drug and alcohol abuse, the education, the state of the economy. We could go on and on and on, lack of proper crime reporting. But I want to deal with the last one, right? Because having said all of those things, there is one thing that I know over the last 20 plus years doing this. I am of the firm belief that neighborhood crime watch groups and crime prevention type programs have a significant influence. But in this case, it's an influence for the better, right? It is able over time to help reduce, and I dare say in some instances, eliminate some of the problems that have been plaguing communities, plaguing businesses over time. So it's important that we look at that, the neighborhood crime watch program and crime prevention programs generally, that they have a significant impact in reducing crime and criminal activity. So a little bit about the organization and certainly the program that is CSAFE. CSAFE, I like to put it as the next generation of Neighborhood Watch. We were familiar with the Neighborhood Watch of whole, where basically you meet, you share some information and so on. Now, today, the CSAFE initiative encompasses a whole lot of other things, and I'll go into some of those things in another slide, right? But it's basically a program designed to manage all the internal and external workings of community groups by integrating a number of unique services into a robust platform that is reliable, timely, confidential, and above all safe. What we've done is we've been able to take this initiative and literally hold the hands of those communities that we've established. So it's not about just starting them up and leaving them on their own. We start them up and we hold their hands throughout the process to make sure that they're doing the right things, that they're keeping updated on information, that they're growing the interest of the program throughout the communities. It uses the basic premise that if you see something, say something. And that is a slogan that has been very, very widely used, but we don't know whether it's practiced as much as it ought to. So a lot of the things that we advocate is that if you see something, you almost have an obligation to report it, especially if it's illegal. It encourages like-minded members of the community to actively become the eyes and ears of law enforcement. Think about it. The police really can't be everywhere at once. So what they do and what we do, we take what you see, what you hear, what you observe, and we ask you to report it. Share that information with someone so that the police will get it, so that they can act on it. That's the only way they'll be able to act, if we report and relay what we see. So I'll walk you through a little bit about some of the pillars in terms of what the community defense CSAFE program is built on. We do what you call community outreach programs. And the community outreach really takes into account establishing new neighborhood watch groups. There have been neighborhood watch groups for the last 30 years in this country. So what we do is we go back, we find those people who still are interested, and we revamp most of them, if not all. Okay? We also look at the business crime watch. We've recently developed something called the Business Crime Watch. We have a couple incubator locations, Tunapuna district being one of them, where there are a couple hundreds of businesses in Tunapuna. They've all decided to come on board, have had meetings, have had training, right, under the guidance of the Tunapuna Business Association. They basically, the Chamber of Commerce, they basically assisted us and we assisted them in bringing the Tunapuna district under the Business Crime Watch program. What that will do, just like the Neighborhood Watch does in the neighborhoods, the Business Watch in the business districts is designed to drive crime down, make those businesses employ better systems, better approaches to security, and therefore minimizing the risk that those establishments face. So we have that as one of the pillars. We do situational awareness training. to both the businesses and the neighborhood watch groups. Technically, you are going through one of those awareness programs as we speak. We do the community risk assessments, where we look at the crime, the risks, the general threats within a community and identify what we can do, what we can recommend, what we can implement to mitigate those threats. Simple things like increasing lighting and so on, as you will see from Mr. Small later on, would help minimize a lot of those risks that we face. Training and resource, we will normally train, do some counseling, guiding and so on to make sure we keep in touch with these communities and help reduce the crime. So that's some of the community outreach programs. The other pillar we look at is the C-Safe moment. C-Safe moment is really where we go to businesses during the lunch hour, just before work, we meet for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it might be, as long as it takes, just to share some messages, some important messages about safety, security awareness, things that they can do to make themselves less of a target. So businesses open their doors, they let us in, and we share that information with businesses, share the guidance and the best practices with them. Personal training in some instances, we've done a lot of training with companies in terms of their staff to help them better be able to defend themselves in certain circumstances. We did a lot of training with businesses in terms of robbery prevention and crime prevention and so on. So there's a lot of activity taking place around those things. And somewhere during the course of this, you'll be able to ask questions, particularly at the end, and we can have contacts that you can reach out to us so that we can come to your business, come to your establishment, and recommend certain things for you. We solicit referrals as well for setting up neighborhood watch groups. So anyone who has an interest in setting up a watch group, a neighborhood watch, there's a number you can call. We leave an email as well, so you'll be able to get all those things. So you can get in touch with us to do that. The other pillar is target hardening. Target hardening may sound foreign to some of you, but really and truly, it's about making yourself less of a target. Some of us walk around with signs on our back saying, "Rob me," just by the way we conduct ourselves, our attitude in public, and so on. It lends itself to that we don't care enough about our safety, that the criminal elements see us as an easy target. So what we do, we identify, particularly in your neighborhoods and your homes and so on, simple things you can do to reduce that risk, to reduce that potential for the criminal. Crime, like running water, follows the path of least resistance. So criminals like to go into areas or target victims where the chances of being caught is very low. So what we do as an organization, we try to make their chances of being caught very high by putting obstacles in their way, making it difficult for them to succeed. Okay? Motive plus opportunity equals crime. A lot of people out there walking around with the motive, the mindset to commit crime. What we do as a community, what you do as a public, what you do as an individual, right? You will help us and we will help you remove the opportunity from the equation. So therefore, by itself, they'll walk around with all the ideas in the world, but they will not see or grasp at the opportunity because we will take that away from them. So that's some of the things that you do by target hardening, which may include residential alarm systems, camera system packages, and so on. Some business security initiatives that can be implemented where we teach you how to do things like make deposits, consolidate deposits, how you conduct your whole affairs at your business. So we are able to do all of that, give you all of that advice and guidance, and literally put you on the right track with the right program to be able to reduce that risk and minimize the chance of you being a victim. Asset registration and identification as well. I mean, JC will talk about that a little bit more because the police have a real challenge with that. So he's going to touch based on what we can do in our homes and in our businesses to make sure that we do something in that area. C-Safe, Secure 24, we are moving into a program where we'll basically bed and breakfasts, small hotels and so on, we will make your place certified by you implementing certain guiding things within the organization, best practices. You'll be able to get that stamp of approval that you're C-Safe secure, C-Safe certified. And that might be an approval that you can put proudly on your front store so that people will know, come here, it's safe because we're practicing good, much like you do for COVID-19 measures now. Okay, but this is a stamp of approval that we've designed that will be able to let you know that this is very possible. And of course, we hold training seminars. We partake in a number of programs and seminars. And as they become available, we'll be sharing this on our website and on our social media pages so that you can get the necessary training and practice that you require to make that work. Of course, nothing is done without measurement. You know, you do performance appraisal, you use statistics to guide where you are, where you need to be, and how you're moving forward. So it's no different with crime fighting. What we will do, we will be looking at the crime statistics that is published by the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. They always say what crimes are prominent, what is on the increase, what they've had the most challenges with, and so on. We as a community, we as a business group, and so on, will use that data, and guide what we need to do to help drive those statistics down. What I can safely say is that in communities where neighborhood watch groups have been active and vibrant, crime has gone down, simply because there are people looking out. There are people now reporting more effectively and taking all the precautions necessary to drive the criminals elsewhere. So we use those statistics to know where we are, monitor the improvement, and of course we'll see where we were before Neighborhood Watch or the Business Crime Watch program, and certainly where we will be in the future. So CAPA, which is the Department of the Police Service, they provide the statistics. It's on the police website, and therefore we use it to our advantage. We have a 24-hour call center that is now being properly well developed. 800 SAFE, 800 SAFE is that number that we've designated. So very soon we'll have the call center active. It's been in test mode. People have been calling in. Unfortunately, 800 SAFE, S-A-F-E, for the C-SAFE program is very close to 800 SAVE. So we've been talking to a lot of people down from all sorts of different actions in terms of domestic issues and so on, because they call the wrong number. But nonetheless, we try to assist and point them in the right place. So we have that number that is available. That number has been donated to us by TSTT. And of course, we're making full use of it to help you, the public, be better aware and get some of the features that we have. Okay. Of course, 800 SAFE is for non-emergencies. All right. So we need to remember that. And we also have the C-SAFE mobile app. So what we've done is we've developed a C-SAFE app. And this is an app where we have missing persons, wanted persons, stolen vehicles. We post information. We send you bulletins. We send you a lot of information throughout the day, round the clock, to help guide you in terms of what is happening and what you can do to protect yourself and be safe. All right. So that's something I want you all to look at. Please, I want you now, where you sit there, take up your phones, download the C-SAFE app. It's available in all the stores, whether you have a Windows, Android, or iPhone. Just search the keywords CSAFE or Community Defense. You will see it, download it. There's a gear in the top right-hand corner when you download to walk you through the process of filling out your information and so on. Anyone having a challenge to download the app, just check your 6-year-old. They should be able to walk you through the process really easy. All right, it's that simple. Okay, the other thing is the first 10 people to download the C-SAFE app today, hear me clear carefully, the first 10 people to download the C-SAFE app today will get a free iPhone 20X. Whenever it comes out, probably next 10 or 15 years, you get a free iPhone 20X, okay? Just remind me. So please download the app. You know, can I have that one? Download the app, right? Complete the setup, profile, and so on. Test your message to make sure the app works, and you're on your way to be able to get that information, get the statistics, get the things that we share within that app to make you feel safer, okay? So happy sharing and download. So what is Neighborhood Watch? What is Neighborhood Watch? I actually went online today. I went online and I would have asked, I don't know, well, in my case, I have Alexa home. I know, so I'm going to play this for you. Alexa, what is Neighborhood Watch?
According to Wikipedia, a neighborhood watch or neighborhood watch, also called a crime watch or neighborhood crime watch, is an organized group of civilians devoted to crime and vandalism prevention within a neighborhood. The aim of Neighborhood Watch includes educating residents of a community on security and safety and achieving safe and secure neighborhoods.
Okay, I didn't realize Alexa and these Siri and these people have all that information in there. I use it normally to look at automating some functions and so on. We will talk about that as we go along, where it will be easy for you to turn on lights and so on afterwards. So neighborhood watch, and if you look at the picture on your screen, some of you all may have to squint depending on if you're looking at it on your mobile phone. The picture really depicts what some of us think neighborhood watch is. That neighbor looking at people and, as we say in the local term, makoing, you know, but in our business, makoing is a good thing. All right. So we want to be able to look out, and so neighbors is all of us working together to make the community safe. It's all of us looking out for each other. All right. And that's the key thing with neighborhood watch. It involves being the eyes and the ears of law enforcement, watching, listening, and of course, reporting suspicious activity. Now, mind you, we have to do a disclaimer here. Neighborhood watch is not about vigilante, okay? It is not vigilante. It's about us being vigilant, yes, but it's not about vigilante behavior. So if it is that your notion is jumping in the pickup with the baseball bat and riding for somebody, you're in the wrong meeting, okay? So we need to understand it's not about confronting or questioning suspects. It's certainly not about detaining or arresting criminals, right? It is not about physically putting yourselves or your loved ones in harm's way at all, right? And of course, it is about, like I said, it is about watch groups and forming watch groups. As a partner in neighborhood watch groups, the police has that responsibility to do all the interaction. The only challenge I would expect you to do to anyone is from the safe distance of your kitchen window behind your burglar proof, and you see somebody interfering with a gate or looking to come into your premises, your simple challenge is, excuse me, how may I help you? And you would be surprised how far those simple words would go in stopping the person in their tracks, and then they'll utter something that is unintelligible because they've been caught and they don't have an answer. Excuse me, how may I help you? So whether you're in your office, whether you're at home, those simple words will go a very long way in terms of helping you get through that process. All right? So we don't confront anyone in this business. The best deterrent is active participation between the police and residents. And what we've seen is wherever there's active participation, crime or some criminal activity, particularly those high statistics that we've been looking at, they go down. So we look at reductions in burglary, theft, home invasions, carjackings, assaults, and other types of serious crimes. They've all been going down steadily in areas that have established these active, vibrant watch groups. Okay, so we're going to get some more of that. So what are the objectives really? And I'll kind of speed up at this point. Is about making our community safer through greater involvement of the community, which means you. And this is done in conjunction with the police. And some of these activities that we have, where the thing is concerned, well, you may not need to, right, is we do community meet and greets. So part of being a good neighbor is about meeting the other neighbors within the community. You'd be surprised. I've gone into some communities that are 15, 20 years old, and in a meeting that is called for the first time, members of the community are now getting to know each other at that point in time. So it's a phenomenon that we've been able to deal with over time. So we have meet and greets often. We have things like the police town meeting, and we have something called station council meetings. So I'll ask JT to unmute, right? Mike, let's speak up. Right, so you're on there. Good. You'll explain a little bit about what the town meetings are, and certainly what the station council meetings are.
Pleasant afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Carmichael, we no longer have the town meetings.
Yes.
That style of engagement in terms of where have officers seated on a head table, and we have done a more round table style discussion now.
Okay.
Approach where we really work in hand in hand with the community.
Oh, that's great.
And getting their input in terms of how they think crime affecting their community, and how they can work together in partnership with the police to prevent crime or reduce crime in a particular community. So we have monthly station council meetings that haven't changed, where probably for the last Tuesday in every month you could liaise with local police station to find out more about station council meetings. And it's basically all stakeholders coming together to work with the police to come up with ideas and solutions whereby we could together come up with strategies to reduce and prevent crime. Thankfully, through the NCPP, National Crime Prevention Program, and through partnering with them, these are so many. There are so many other avenues where the police work together with the community in terms of coming up with strategies to prevent crime. One of these type activities is exactly what we are doing here now. Mr. Michael and I work extensively through the community, through the central division, to have discussions, to hear from residents what are some of the crime problems, because we believe that to treat with any crime is important to identify the root causes to crime in order for us to come up with a meaningful strategy or solution to counteract that particular crime. So I don't want to take up too much.
Well, as you have the mic, I know that at times we've had the neighborhood watch meetings, and a lot of the community, in order to get the message out to the communities, they've engaged the police to do the walkabouts, to go in the community with them. Tell us how one would arrange that.
Well, basically, we have the community relations headquarters based at Riverside Plaza, Port of Spain. Before I finish this evening, I will share the contact with you. But my contact number is 461-1211. We have the station number, the community police office number, 671-5394. You could email us at communitypoliceunit@gmail.com, and you could basically send a request for us to, come and partner with you or your community. As simple as a phone call, a WhatsApp message, or email. Once you get in contact with us, we will be able to connect with you, arrange to come to your area. I mean, we do things like community walkabouts, and these walkabouts include where we share safety tips with residents for them to understand the resources basically available to them. People didn't even know, for example, through experiencing COVID, some of the social support available. So, community policing really provide for networking. It's really a policing strategy that promotes the fact that the police and the residents must partner together with all stakeholders to prevent crime or reduce crime in a particular community. Because there are a lot of reasons for crime, and some of the root causes may be things like delinquency, poverty. It's not an excuse, but there's some things that lead to why people behave a particular way or commit particular crimes. And we believe through partnership, through identifying the root cause, we could come up with solutions to treat with crime issues.
Excellent. Thank you very much, JC. All right, so we all hear it. The police is waiting. The numbers have been given to you, and at some point in time, they'll be shared again with you. So it's important. Okay, information sharing, we spoke about that. If you see something, say something. And of course, cooperate in making crime reports. A lot of people right. Sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, right. Sorry about that. Yeah, so information sharing is important. You probably didn't hear that clearly. So information sharing is important, and of course the cooperation in terms of making reports. Right. If you're a witness, then the police would need you to do certain things to make sure and carry out that action so that you can get a conviction, so the perpetrator can be taken off the streets. Okay, so we have a role to play. So that first slide alone would have given you a wealth of information in terms of how important it is that making a community safe and what role you play in that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to is to give you an idea of some of what has been taking place. So we talk about information sharing. This is just over the last 24 hours. In a particular community, one community alone. So all those pictures you're seeing on the screen, I try to blank out the vehicle numbers and so on. These are suspicious people, suspicious vehicles, making the block, making certain, the guy in the middle there came out of his vehicle a couple times and so on, very suspicious. And of course, neighbors with their smartphones, their cameras, or whatever it might be, have been told, they have been trained, they have been schooled to put that information documented by taking a photograph, sharing it in the chat group, and we're going to talk about some of those things with the chat group and so on. And that kind of information is useful because very quickly somebody will see a vehicle and they say, no, that's the plumber. He's waiting on me to return home. So we could relax, right? In other instances, those vehicles have been followed throughout the community by different cameras, by different people along the street. So they're in a position from the time the person does something of foul, right? The police would already have that, because in most of these WhatsApp groups, and that's something you need to know as well, the police, as in JC is in about 50 something of those groups alone in the Chaguanas district. All right. So the police, the sergeant, the seniors at the station have elected to be part of the WhatsApp chat groups that these communities have established. That's how keen they are in supporting and working alongside the public. All right. So this is an idea of some of the pictures that have been shared in one particular group alone. And I thought I would just highlight them to show you the kind of work that communities have been doing to identify these persons who just knock on doors, pretend they're hunting iguana, all sort of different things. And of course, they're up to 40 in most instances, all right, based on the following and trailing them, all right? So the second thing we do is involves establishing and maintaining watch groups with the community with the objective of looking out for each other's safety. And again, you could be traveling and you tell your neighbor, neighbors, I'll be out for 2 weeks. Just throw an eye for me now. Some people tell the papers, man, throw the papers in the other house for the next couple of weeks, okay? Others park their vehicles in the other person's driveway when they're away and absent. So the house appears to be lived in and so on. So there's a whole host of things that we do as neighbors to look out for each other in a very meaningful kind of way. And that's what some of the things that the neighborhood watch does. Members of the community as well are taught to how to make their home safe and less of a target. Mr. Small will go a little bit more in depth into the personal, the home and so on. But for now, I wanted to show you some visuals, right? We talk about installing quality locks. When he mentioned lock and he goes into some details of things that they've encountered while policing and so on, we'll see what the lock's supposed to look like. You know, the police would have been at some $1 million homes with break-ins and so on, and there's a little $25 lock guarding the front door, right? Which was easily manipulated by the criminal element. So we talk about locks, and you're gonna hear some more about how they should be, what quality and so on, right? Install quality exterior lighting. Again, you know, the house may not look as good as this one, but you see it's well lit. So even now it's getting dark, you may be at home, you may be at work, you may be on your way listening to us here, right? Are your lights coming on automatically, or are you coming home in darkness? Okay, there are enough simple, effective ways for you to cause your house to be illuminated, even though you are not there, even though you're abroad, all right? And most of it could be under $100 and you can get it activated, all right? So we want to be able to get you on board to make sure that your home is well lit. For those of you all who have the socket, but for the last 20 years, you've never had a bulb screwed into it, and the Maribonta and the Jack Spanier and everybody building nests in the socket, clean it out, clear the wasp, and put a bulb, please. It will save your life one day. We've seen in all the video footage where people were breaking into homes and hiding and secreting themselves. They moved in the cover of darkness. This is why I can speak with some authority that that simple little act will be enough to deter the criminal and send them somewhere else, okay? Keep unattended doors and windows locked. A lot of us today, I mean, when I take taxi ever so often, you know, and somebody gets off at their home with groceries, you will see granny or tanty get out of the taxi, reach under the welcome mat at the front door and take up the house key on the windowsill, like how we used to say it a long time, or in the flower pot, okay? We can no longer do those things. We need to change that kind of behavior because it has led to people breaking into your homes and knowing exactly what is there, okay? So you want to be able to keep doors and windows locked, keep trees and shrub trimmed. Now this is nice, and all those people who like flower and fauna and plants and so on, they'll say that is lovely, and I agree with you. But to the criminal, that's haven, because anywhere there, I could stand, I don't even have to stoop. I can stand in the shadows of one of those plants day and night and surprise you, pounce on you when you open your front door or you're walking along your footpath, okay? So Mr. Small as well will talk something about septed, and you're gonna hear what that is and so on, and you're gonna see how that will be able to help you things. I'm gonna move on a little faster. So trees and shrubs should be trimmed. So instead of this look, we want you to look more like this, all right? Where it still looks beautiful, but people cannot hide and surprise you because the trees are right up to the windows and the homes and so on. All right. So those are some very quick tips, quick pointers. And of course, we encourage you where possible. I mean, a lot of these systems are affordable now, and we make it very affordable for you to be able to put in systems, things that would normally be out of your pocket. We can share how simple it is to get it in, right? So the alarm systems, the camera systems, all these things that you're seeing, they have a value, okay? They have a serious value. So we teach you how to be alert. We will tell you how to look for persons, how to look for vehicles, how to identify vehicles, and certainly we'll do that. We'll tell you about suspicious activity and how to identify that. We'll tell you what the police need to get when you're making reports and so on, how to be a good witness, right? Because sometimes you can't help but be robbed. And even if you are, then you spend the time being able to identify the perpetrator. So you focus on what that person looks like, right? They walk, they look, they stance, any tattoos, any peculiar marks and so on. So there are a number of things that you need to do, and you get all of those things when we do the neighborhood watch training in full. Okay, the program serves to coordinate the efforts of tracking down criminals simply because you become a vital player in terms of you being a witness, you having observed something, okay? And of course, if you feel, and you know, with people like JC in the police service and the commissioner and these people who have shown you and demonstrated time and time again their commitment, right? If that fails and you still have some fear or some problem or apprehension, there's crime support. 800 tips. We don't need to know who you are, we just need the information. And you get a chance to get a reward while doing that. Okay, so that's something. And while I'm here, there's a $25,000 reward for the person who would have killed that person, particularly the 2-year-old and the gentleman in Tunapuna. All right, so I mean, if anybody has information about that killing, that gruesome killing of that little child, then certainly come forward, say what you know. You can do that very confidentially and get a chance to get $25,000. It's as easy as that. Okay, so we encourage persons as well, right? Strong community involvement via communications channels. So one of the things that we've done is we've taken, like I said, the neighborhood watch to another level. So now with you, long ago it used to be the phone tree, where you give your phone number, and if you see something, you call 2 people and 3 people and 3 people have to call and other people, and it's a long, tedious process over a couple of minutes, and then you'll eventually get to the whole neighborhood. Now with WhatsApp, we form WhatsApp groups where all the persons give their number and they participate in the group. And once you're in the group, we then blast that information. So the vehicles I would have shown you, the persons who are walking around the neighborhoods, people get that in real time now. And not only the members of the community or the business community, if it's a business chat group, the police gets it as well, right? So there are times when JC, I mean, I'm on it as well, I'm on all the chats as well. So there are times when JC would come on immediately after something has been sent to say that the police is on the way, okay? And that helps because it tells the public that, yeah, the guy name is not just for style. They come on, they give advice, they give guidance and so on all the time during this group. Of course, we want discipline. Don't be sending prayers and chain letters and so on because it's an emergency chat. So there's a lot of rules and criteria and discipline in there because you have stakeholders like myself and the police and so on board and other first responders. So you want to keep it tight. Okay, so we have the CSAFE app, and that is there for information as well. We also encourage communities to use Zello, Jello with a Z. And Zello is in fact a walkie-talkie app. So a lot of these communities now have gone on the Zello platform as well, in addition to the WhatsApp. And Zello is really, in the event somebody's in your yard, you don't need to go and type a message and take a picture and that long process. You can simply press a button and broadcast that voice across every single user. So whether they're lying down dozing off, whether they're in a deep sleep, whether there's something, they will hear that voice of distress coming through and know that it's you calling for help. Okay, so that's how important Zello is as opposed to WhatsApp. Okay, and of course we have the traditional things with holding the meetings, the social gatherings, the meet and greets. And those are the things that we encourage communities to build that bond and know who your neighbors are. Okay, and as well, increase the neighborhood unity as we seek to correct the situations that threaten peace of mind. A lot of you all have been in a community for 20, 30, 40 years. In the penal system, 25 years is almost considered life. Good? 25 years is considered life. So you could well imagine you're in a community for over 25 years next to people, you're doing life together. Like it or not, you're doing life. And because you're doing life, you need to work and operate and collaborate in a certain way with those persons. There is no room in there for animosity. There is no room in there for bitterness or hate. Every member of the community should come together and work together to keep that community safe. And that's what we encourage, that's what we foster, and I'm, not with that is what is working as we speak. So the information sharing platform is the residents sharing information with residents through the WhatsApp and the other chat platforms and so on, right? The community then shares that information with the police, and they get to know who is doing what what instances, and they have a record, whether it's the footage from the camera systems, whether it's the actual pictures that have been taken, whether it's the eyewitness account that they capture. We get that, okay? And then what happens is when you share information with, let's say, St. Joseph Police Station, then share that information with Tunapuna district stations or San Juan, Barataria, and so on. And other stations now know what is happening and the modus operandi of some of the crimes that are taking place. And of course, there are times when the police would then share information with the communities so that they would know who is in and out of jail, who to look out for, what kind of crimes we can expect to increase, and so on. In particularly with what's been happening in and around Port of Spain and so on, the chats have been active. The police officers have been sharing information about where to go, where not to go, where to divert, and so on. And you'll be surprised how well a lot of these communities have managed that information. Managed meaning they share the things that are important and vital, so people are guided in terms of knowing where to pass, where not to pass, and where to feel safe, and so on. So that has been something we have initiated our own emergency platform, our own emergency type response within communities that have active neighborhood watch groups. Okay, so if you're listening now and you're hearing me for the first time, right, what are you waiting on to come on board? The number you can reach us at is 312-2281. I repeat, 312-2281. For now, or info at communitydefense.com. info@communitydefense.com. And that's simply, defense is spelled with a C, you will see it somewhere there, okay? So the information is important. So in wrapping up now, what we do after we build out the group, we share the information, we bring you on board and so on, we want you to be able to tell the world, everybody, every criminal, every bad boy who passes through your community, they need to know that Neighborhood Watch is alive and well. And the signage that you're going to put up, as in some of these pictures you're seeing here, the signage tells everyone that there's an active Neighborhood Watch group in effect. And even if they don't believe the signage, if they loiter, if they falter, if they do anything untoward within the community, their names automatically go up. Sorry, the picture automatically goes up, the vehicle goes up, whatever activity they're involved in that looks or appears suspicious, right? And it appears suspicious until it's validated by another resident if need be. Okay, that's how important that is. So the sign says a lot, and of course we've gotten the permission from the Commissioner of Police to put the police logo up there. All right, you'll see the logos, which is the C-Safe logo. You will see Crime Stoppers is broadcast there as well. The Chamber being the stalwart, they've been there supporting Neighborhood Watch from inception. And of course the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. So those symbols say a lot in terms of the integrity and the quality of who is backing and who is behind that Neighborhood Watch. Okay, and you can be part of that too as well. We have the air horn, right? I don't want to tell you cover your ears, but this is what the horn looks like. Okay, so these horns are available. You can point it away, you can get them purchased and so on, right? Reasonable. And certainly we encourage every single one. There's a whole policy in terms of how you use this and what you use it to and how effective it is. So communities have been doing horn drills, all right? And you know, some people when they hear the horn, it brings back a lot of memory probably to the first horn. So I don't know, so some people don't take it too nice, JC, right? But you know, they eventually get over it. But at the end of the day, these ones are very vital, all right? You'll be surprised how powerful this tool is, even to keep it in your car, right? So what it does is it alerts the community that something is wrong by 3 loud bursts. And other members know that once they hear the horn, they take theirs in hand and they do the same. So you send an entire signal across the entire community. People with car alarms trigger the car alarms, people with house alarms trigger their house alarms, and there's a whole set of chaos in terms of organized chaos that is geared toward one person. That person who felt that they could have come into a community and tried to invade the privacy or the sanctity of that community. All right? And that is blasted all over. People go on the chat and say exactly what is going on, and the police is on the way, and a whole host of type of responses take place. And you know what? You haven't left the safety of your home as yet and have initiated all of those good stuff. All right? So that's some of the good things there. Communities have engaged in surveillance systems, so the beginning and the end of the street to identify vehicles that are passing, vehicles that are stopping and so on. It's recorded, it's a server and so on. So we have all of these systems that we can deploy, right? Let you know what it will take to have it, and certainly you can be one of the beneficiaries of this to make your neighborhood more effective, more safe, and so on. We also encourage persons with camera systems to deploy a road-facing camera. So you may have 4 or 5 cameras around your home. We encourage you to bring one closer to the road to pick up the street, so that you can get vehicles that are passing, people that are passing. So those kind of footage, that footage will contribute to the overall security and safety of the community. The police would love those kind of things, especially when there are instances of vehicles that have been escaping, persons who would have gone through communities and so we are able to help the police solve crimes, as we said earlier on. Okay, so that kind of surveillance is available. We also do self-protection training, self-defense training. We let people know whether you're 9 or 99, we will give you a few pointers on how you can save your life, how you can defend yourself effectively. All right. So we have whole programs sometimes for communities, business, and so on that can bring your employees or your drivers or whoever you feel requiring this type of training, and we can market that to the entire community so that they can all get up to speed and be able to at least defend themselves. So we teach you all those things about how to escape, duct tape, tie wraps, everything, right? Safety and things that you'll take, especially when traveling and commuting and so, all of those things are highlighted in the training program. All right, so that said, I would want to turn it over to JC, so he'll take you to the other half of the program. Keep your questions. There's a platform in there for you to send questions, send messages, and so on. Please participate. Let's see how you're going. So I'll take a little quiet time now, while I hand over to JC to continue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Darren. Nice. Hearing me now? Thank you, Darren. Yes, so I just wanted to get familiar with this term, CPTED, Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. And let me just give you all the dictionary meaning for CPTED. Crime prevention through environmental design is a multidisciplinary approach of crime prevention that uses urban and architectural design and the management of built and natural environments. And it simply means that we considering the environment and the buildings and all the infrastructure around your home in terms of in relation to the fight against crime. So as Mr. Carmichael was saying earlier, you would have really tall trees blocking the view, obscuring the view, so when police officers on patrol, something taking place in a yard, you're unable to see what's happening. You're not going to put your walls too tall. Some people have their wall really tall, and police officers, if you're on patrol, anyone is in danger, bandits in on the premises, we even respond, you're unable to identify what is really taking place. So maintain low walls, trim your trees and all these things. Make sure that you're around your house well lit, that we could see exactly what's taking place in a yard. I mean, I know it should not have a concern about Mako and all kind of thing, but it's important to really consider these things when you want to secure a home. I mean, when it is you're thinking of a home, look through a burglar's eyes. Understand that they will do anything necessary to get into your home because they're looking to get stuff like jewelry, valuables, money. So you must make yourself a hard target. In other words, generally when persons come to your gate, make sure that, for example, persons in recent times gone by, probably a year ago, were dressing in coming to do some kind of repair work at a home, like for example, cable technician, phone technicians, health workers. People when they come out to do these types of jobs, make sure that they could properly identify themselves and discourage the children from going to try to engage strangers, peeping through the window for strangers to see. Once they hear someone calling, it's important for them to come and alert an adult so that the adult will engage whoever it is at the door. Not just like that. If it's for example, someone from a cable company or your internet company or whatever, you contact them, or you make sure that every person in the household is aware that these persons are coming, because these type of service providers don't just appear in front of your home. Usually, it's because you would have made some type of requests and they come based on that. But I mean, from time and time, again, we have observed where persons surprisingly allow these people to enter into your premises, and before you know it, firearms out, robberies taking place. It's really important to make yourself a hard target. I mean, avoid building like windows, for example, windows. Don't put them close to the door, so it make it easy for someone to just break a window, put their hands in, and just open the door. Try and have deadbolt locks and these kind of things so that bandits will have a hard time getting in your home. You know, your doors, you shouldn't have no kind of Styrotex door or some kind of hollow door that somebody could just hit a cuff. And, you know, before you know it, they could, you know, tamper with the lock and get in your house. It's important to really put a solid door with solid good locks. If it is you have to double lock your door, put 2 locks. You know, do all that you need to do to make sure that you secure your home properly. People like to do typical things like put your keys for your house under the doormat. Put the keys for your house in the mailbox. Put the keys for your house in the washing machine. I know these are some of the common places. I mean, when we go to schools to lecture to children daily, you hear it. Where are some of the places your parents put their keys for the house, and you hear it from the children? So parents, you know, adults, make sure that you properly well educate your children on the right thing in terms of not making yourself vulnerable in terms of the eyes of criminals, right? So you're not going to put the keys under the mat, in the mailbox, and by the washing machine and these common places. Make sure when you're within your home, you're properly well secure your home, so that even like, for example, some persons, if this is you're leaving late in the evening and you know that when you come home it's going to be dark, put on the house lights from before, so that you make sure that when you return home, you're able to have a proper visual at the home, so that you will know if it's a bandits hiding some way behind some tree. I know you're not going to hire trees too tall like we described earlier, but it's important to really put on the lights and make sure that your place well lit, so that the police officers, while we're on patrol, we could see exactly what's taking place in your yard. I mean, when it is you're driving home, make sure you do a proper scan of your environment. You're not just going to pull up in front of your house. You got to be digging up in your bag for your keys. Make sure that you have your house keys, you know, readily available and accessible, that as you switch off your vehicle, you're able to just enter your home and quickly get in. It's really important to, you know, pay surveillance, or, you know, scan and observe your environment before you just enter into your home. And if it is you pull up in front of your house and you realize something looking strange, or the door slightly cracked, don't be ashamed and don't feel no type of way to contact the police. I mean, as I say contact, I just want to remind you that you could contact 482 Gary and 999, the typical 999, I mean, thankfully through the Commissioner of Police and as part of the modernization and transformation of Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, we have a faster response system with the 999 system. When you contact 999, what happens is that the closest patrol to where you live is going to respond to whatever disturbance is taking place at your location. I mean, you could have the station number as a backup, right? But when you contact the station, if the officers don't answer right away, you know, it's a whole process. But when you call 999, the fastest patrol that closest to that location going to respond, and in a matter of minutes, you're able to get police response. I mean, Darren is my good friend, yeah. But just recently, you know, he even contacted me, and you know, through the 999 system, through each police division now had their own operation command control that report to the Commissioner Command Control, and through that system is really more effective than times gone by, where you have a quick police response time for any kind of disturbance. In terms of being streetwise and safe, I just wanted to bear in mind some basic rules. I mean, be very alert when you walk in the streets. I mean, people usually, I mean, when the headsets start to, you know, be really trending, people just lost in the headset. They walk in the streets, sometimes we're on patrol. We say, good day. They don't have a clue what's taking place in the outside environment. Persons, they're walking through busy streets, and persons able to just snatch your phone, snatch your valuables, and they don't have a clue because they're so lost into this whole cyber environment.
JC, as you say, snatch your phone. A lot of the children I know, particularly school children and adults, have been losing their phones regularly. And you'd be surprised that they can't even describe the phone by a serial number or something. What advice?
Well, I just want to say, in terms of the phone, I mean, one, when it is you purchase anything, whether it's a cell phone, whether it's some type of appliance, make sure you record the serial number. If you have to take a photograph and email it to yourself, it's really important for you to have the serial number, because in terms of the police being able to prosecute someone and actively investigate in terms of proper information, see things like serial numbers important. And as you mentioned that, Darren, I just want you all, try this exercise now if you like, but you could dial on a cell phone, your normal cellular phone, *#06 and you'll see something called the IMEI code, and that is unique to each phone. If it is you have a dual SIM phone, you'll see 2 coming up. But if it is you try that, *#06 you will see the IMEI code coming up on your phone, and that is unique to each phone. So when it is that come up on your phone, screenshot it, send it to your email, and it will be there in cyberspace as proper storage. Don't keep it on your phone. So you know,
you want to steal that.
bandits as the, I mean, plenty of them don't know about it. Look, I didn't even know about it, you know, but it's something really important. You see serial numbers and all these things that could help identify your belongings. I mean, I'm not onto vehicle safety yet, but I just want to mention too, even your motor cars, under your seats, some hiding place in your vehicle, put some kind of distinguishing mark that if it is your vehicle stolen or your valuable stolen, you're able to identify it, even probably without a serial number or a chassis number or something like that. Something that you could do so that you'll be able to tell the police officers, well, you know, I have the initials of my name under the seat or in the vicinity or somewhere the vehicle or your belonging that you alone could probably identify. It is really important. I mean, when it is you're walking the street, going back to some street-wise safety tips, you walk the street confident, like you know what you're about, and you know, trust your gut feeling or your instincts. If it is to see somebody looking like they're approaching you and you feel very uncomfortable with that person, nothing wrong with you busting a loud scream and you're running very fast away from that perceived threat. You know, most times, as you know, we're saying local terms, your vibes, you get vibes. When you get vibes and you see people approaching you and you're very uncomfortable about, you know, they're approaching you, you scream, you run into the shop. One good thing to do generally is pay proper surveillance in your own community in terms of know where your police station is, know where the health centers are. Teach your children, we just look at the fact that we probably need to do some kind of field trip, some big thing, but in a simple way. You take your children in your vehicle, drive them through the community, just in case of anything, they'll be able to know, well, look, you know, the police station there, the fire station there, the health center is there. You know, it's really important to have a good understanding of your own environment.
You know, COVID probably put some pickpocketers out of business.
So true.
They can't get close to anybody anymore.
Social distancing.
Social distancing.
Even they're practicing it.
So even after we don't hear social distancing anymore, we would hope that you continue what you might want to call smart distancing going forward.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. When you're walking in the streets, you know, from time to time I see persons, as you know, in Trinidad, we say you pull out your water, your big coil of money. When it is in the public view, it's important for you to not do these things, because I mean, criminals, they're looking for every opportunity. And when it is you have your valuables displayed, large chain, large rings, earrings, you snatch it, you probably could get injured in the process. I could recall it had a popular fete. I was present there some years ago performing some police duties in plain clothes, and one of my colleagues had on a really big thick, as they say, rope gold chain. I'm gonna tell you, all the neck was red and bruised after the. And here the trick. They pass with some powder, with the powder crew pass, and after the powder crew pass, it was like a ghost town in terms of your valuables and your wallet, everything was just gone. So when it is you're going public places, avoid it. If it is you don't have to, don't wear the bling. Don't put the bling on the children, because somebody just might, you know, put their life at danger, kidnap them. You know, human trafficking is a real issue around the world and also in Trinidad and Tobago. So I don't want to hear anything adverse happening to anybody, you know, viewing or any Trinidadians in general, or any persons that visiting our beloved Twin Island Republic. You know, generally, when your children, these are, I tell you some of the things too that you can tell your children. I know we have a little more restrictions lifted, they might be going to the zoo, they might be going to the mall, to public places. Make sure that when they're going to the public washrooms and so on, they go in company with, you know, a parent and an adult, some guardian. Don't send children in the washroom alone. Sometimes, probably, you never know, you're going to a building, you're going to the washroom, and through the washroom, it probably has some window to climb down, some way to come out in some car park, and before you know it, your child disappear. You make sure, and always be vigilant with the children, teach them to, if it is they will end up in a situation where somebody approaching them, teach them to run and scream and bawl and do all that they need to do to escape from harm's way. Is really, really important. Generally, I just want to also reiterate, if it is you observe any suspicious person, make sure and get a proper physical description of the person, whether they're tall, they're short, they're of African descent, they're of East Indian descent, Chinese, Syrian. Get a proper look at the person, the height, the description, what they're wearing. Like, for example, I have on a white shirt with a police logo on the left side, upper part of my shirt. You know, give a proper physical description, vehicle numbers. When it is your children moving, or if it is you moving on the streets or walking about, and if you see some men moving suspicious in a vehicle and you feel uncomfortable, besides running, while you're running, probably try to get a look at the vehicle number, the registration number. It helps to be able to enter a search on the system and immediately pull up who is the registered owner of these vehicles. So make sure that when you're moving on the streets, you scan the environment, as I said, proper physical description, short hair, rasta hairstyle, straight hair, you know, whatever physical description. If it is you see any distinguishing marks on that vehicle, for example, they might have a tint or a particular writing on the bonnet or the rear of the vehicle, or anything that could help you pass on information to the police that could help us, if need be, in terms of our response, you'll be able to identify who are the suspects and which vehicle they were in. Because sometimes, criminals now, they're smart, they change vehicles, but you leave that up to the police in terms of being able to track them. But you, from the onset, provide proper information that we could help you track whichever criminal element or whatever. When it is you driving on the street, make sure all the doors and the windows in your vehicle lock. Make sure it's properly well secured so that anybody can't just put their hands in your vehicle and just pull out something or snatch. You know, make sure it's properly well secured. I mean, you know, we have had some recent disturbances, and even if it is driving through any area that you see any activity happening that's unlawful, you make sure and try to expeditiously, meaning in a very quick manner, come out from that area and come out from harm's way, and make sure that while you're doing that, that your vehicle is secure. I saw many videos where persons just able to open a back door, open a side door, and just jump in and sit down, put a gun to your head and tell you, hey, drive so, and they had no control over that, generally. When it is you driving in your vehicle, I mean, it's important to have some kind of safety device, whether it's GPS, whether it's car search, whatever safety mechanism in terms of vehicle that can help us track it. It's really effective. I've seen from time to time where persons, in terms of last in the motor vehicle, we were able to recover vehicles in quick time because of these tracking devices. When you go to the malls and any car park area, generally don't leave like handbags and all these things displayed on the seat visible. Don't have it visible, because it's really easy for criminal elements to just see these things and, you know, it attract them and they just break a glass. We have seen videos where men just take a big stone and burst a glass, get a handbag, and you know that handbag that you walk it probably really didn't have much in it, you know. Probably
the glass to replace the glass more expensive.
Probably have $5 in the handbag and some old clothes or something, because you probably now come from the garden, but the bandits and watching that, they've seen opportunity, and if they had to break your $5,000 windscreen or car glass just to get us something that going to surprise them, that, you know, is nothing really valuable, you know, try and prevent that. Try and not put flashy things in your vehicle that persons could be able to just enter and take it easily. I just want to reiterate to you too, when it is you feel like persons, you know, harassing you on the road or trying to get your attention for something, you just you know, avoid interacting with that person. I've seen from time to time where you're walking through someplace and somebody coming to tell you, hey, you know, they have your full attention. They're trying to sell you something. And somebody who working in partnership with that person, looking for opportunity to just snatch something from your pocket and slip it out real easy and whatever. You know, it's really, really important. When it is you going to like the bus stops and whatever, if it is you're going to any bus stop or maxi stand or whatever, make sure that you're seeing a little crowd of people. Make sure that is in an area that well lit. If it is not well lit, some of these lonely taxi stands, some of these PH taxi stands, in most of these cases where persons trying to get home quickly, they're watching, they're scanning. Sometimes before you get in the vehicle, watch at the occupants, make sure that they're looking too suspicious, because we have seen where persons enter these vehicles and, you know, some kind of kidnapping, some kind of robbery, and, you know, it could lead to where you're being physically hurt or even where you meet your demise in terms of death. So make sure that, you know, as we keep on saying, pay proper attention to your physical environment, generally speaking.
What we sometimes encourage women in particularly to do is upon approaching the taxi stand or the taxi that you're going to eventually be going in, try to take a photograph. So at least you get the number plate, send it to your best friend, your parents, whatever it might be. Yes. So at least they know what was the last vehicle you got into. And at some point in time, let them know that you'll contact them when you're leaving and so on. So at least take a time, the 45-minute journey or so, and make some inquiry in case you're taking longer. So that's something that people can do.
Yes. Yes. So adults, children, whoever are tuned in, is really, safety is everybody's business. That is something we like to say. And you know, we like to encourage this statement. I saw it earlier when Darren was presenting. If you see something, say something. It's really important for us to share information as citizens. I just want to go back into some of the activities that we do as the police service and as through community relations. We have the police youth clubs, which have been in existence since 1974, and the youth clubs are geared towards a holistic development approach where we focus on educational development, physical development, we focus on the environment, we focus on general sports, cultural activities. We do things to really enhance the way that children behave. We teach them etiquette, discipline, the importance being a buddy to each other, being a friend to each other, not a bully. This is something that you can teach your children and your loved ones. Be a buddy and not a bully. That is something we teach them as part of our TTPS bullying campaign. But the youth clubs in, you know, every station district, police station district will have like probably 8 to 14 youth clubs. In Central Division, we have 14 youth clubs. But feel free to contact your nearest station and find out more about joining your police youth club. I just want to give you the number for the community relations headquarters in Port of Spain, which is based at Riverside Plaza on the 5th floor. 627-9087, 627-9087, or 625-3275. I mean, I just want to share a bit as at this point now come to me. When it is you're renting, for the persons who renting the property, you make sure that persons who you're welcoming to be a part of your community and your environment are people that are credible and have good character. If it means that one of the requirements when you're renting your home or your apartment to someone, send them to get a certificate of character. Or you could contact us and let us do a background check, especially if it is your gut feeling telling you that something not right about this person. You know, let us try to really be vigilant and be our brother's keeper. Because sometimes we welcome persons into our communities to rent. I mean, you're looking at getting fast money, but you don't know nothing about these people's background. And when you check it out, it's because they come to purposely rent the apartment to pay surveillance in an entire community. And everybody lost, because as simple as trying to tell the person, get a certificate of character before I am renting my place. People like they just studying the money more than anything else. It's really, really important for you to, you know, have a good background check or have good background information on persons who you're bringing into your space in terms of your community. Generally, as I said before, community policing is really a philosophy that promotes partnership between the police. We use the term that the police are the people and the people are the police. So we work hand in hand to identify some of the contemporary crime problems, and we together come up with strategies and solutions to counter these problems. So, for example, I know you're familiar with the term the enterprise model. You know, that was really a model where the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service as an organization, in terms of all arms of the police service, the investigative, the operational, the community policing, you know, we really work together with these stakeholders of the community, and we sat with them to identify the problems, the problems of crime and other problems in the community. Sometimes it's as simple as a street light. If it is you have a street light in your street that's not working, I mean, things like knowing 800 bulb is a number that you can contact to make sure that your environment in your community, you know, you're considering the term that I used earlier, accepted, crime prevention through environmental design. And, you know, simple by having these community groups, it is really important that you could be a brother's keeper and you're able to, as residents in one particular community, share resources, share ideas, and do things to enhance the quality of life in your community. And, you know, when it is you have a better overall quality of life, people wouldn't want to choose criminal activity as an alternative. They will choose the right path because this is the trend that, you know, you set in as an individual and more so as part of a community group that promoting, you know, law-abiding citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, the community police, we do extensive outreach in the school. I just want to mention to you, tune in for Commissioner of Police Football Cup. Last year was the first inaugural Commissioner of Police Football Cup. This year, the Football Commissioners Cup is going to start on the 4th of August. Stay tuned, and, you know, I want to encourage persons living in any part of Trinidad and Tobago, encourage your children to join the Police Youth Club. The Police Youth Club really, you know, help the children to develop holistically, and they are better law-abiding citizens. We have initiatives, other initiatives. We have the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Mentorship Program, where this is also going to focus on children with displaying at-risk behaviors. And through our holistic program, again, we're going to guide them through a process where we want to see a transformation in terms of the behavior. It's like a Big Brother style program. We're going to have police officers being paired with our mentees. Police officers are the mentors. They're going to be paired with the mentees, and they're going to kind of like work one-on-one with these children to see a positive change through particular activities that we're going to outline as part of the process to see a change in these children's behavior. And, you know, when the children are of age, just to keep them occupied and do positive things, you know, parents, adults, encourage them to get things like the driver's permit, take them to get an identification card, their passport, and, you know, do things to generally motivate them and keep them along the right path. When you see your child straying and going on the block to Lime and, you know, ending up in bad company, whether it's in school or in the community, really try to discourage that kind of, you know, engagement, because it wouldn't serve well for your child in the long run. And before you know it, they probably might end up doing illegal activities that, you know, you don't want to have a whole head and ball. Contact us, Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and we will work with you through our police youth clubs, through like our upcoming mentorship program, where we're going to work with you, work with the communities to really hand in hand, you know, better the quality of life of everyone. You know, I just want to say a special thanks to the National Crime Prevention Program in particular for seeing the importance of doing these webinars for us to share information and interact with you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to say special thanks to my good friend, Mr. Darren Carmichael, for always, you know, sometimes it's on a Sunday, your home is on a Saturday, and late in the evening, it doesn't matter. Mr. Carmichael would say, Sergeant Small, we have a watch room that we're going to set up, and vice versa. We could call on each other all the time, and it's really just to make Trinidad and Tobago a better place. We want to really thank all those who, you know, understand the importance of being law-abiding citizens. And again, contact us at the Shogunas Community Police Office at 671-5394. And there are some numbers I just want to highlight. You're seeing on the screen here. The Community Policing Secretariat, this number I didn't give you before, but it's on the screen, so you're able to see the Community Policing Secretariat. All the numbers, you take them, the 482 Gary, the 555-800 tips, any 999, get your local police station number, form, you know, Mr. Carmichael, without any formal start or any neighborhood watch group, you know, street by street, you're just making sure that in these street by street WhatsApp group, you're not going to have the man that's selling the weed. You're not going to have the man that...
Well, actually, there's a question that someone asked is, how do you know that you're not engaging a criminal? Let me just, sorry. Right, so there's a question asked, how do you know that you're not engaging a criminal within the neighborhood watch program? You want to get it right. They're trying to say, okay, we have a neighbor or neighbors that we are not too sure about. At the end of the day, most of you who live in a community have a fair sense of who is on board and who is not, right? And using the word on board instead of suspicious or criminal, right? And certainly you can make that judgment call based on the activities you've identified based on things that you may know or sometimes may not know. All right. So we always encourage people, if you know that you have somebody who is of that way and in that type of activity, leave them out of the chat. They will understand. It's my experience that they know exactly why they would not be on the group chat, and they know exactly why they are not invited to the meetings that you're sharing around.
And I just want to add, Mr.
Yeah.
Carmichael, it's really important. If it is you're setting up these street by street watch groups, I mean, sometimes just to have a connect between your neighbors, just to have a good living,
Right.
like long time, it's important to really just I mean, you living in a community, you go hear the rumors. Once you hear a rumor that someone involved in any type of
Might be
illicit or legal
correct.
activities,
Exactly.
make sure that you do not have them to the watch group, because you're going to be compromising our entire
Community.
by doing that. Because
Right.
some of these young men and women, they, as we say, paying surveillance, they're home, they're unemployed, they're doing nothing. Some of the PH taxi drivers, they're looking for opportunities.
That's
And
correct.
when it is you allow them into the space where you're trying to create a safe and secure environment, you compromising yourself, the family members, because let me tell you something, in the criminal world, it has no loyalty, you know. Sometimes a man bringing a man to break a place and whatever. But if it is the man realize the man who bringing the information from a community where it have opportunity, it is nothing stopping he from
doing other.
So you know, crime is just a ripple effect with crime, and do encourage lawless people and people who break the laws of Trinidad and Tobago to be a part of any neighborhood watch group.
All right. So before we end it, and I mean, you all have been a loyal audience, and I want to thank you for taking the time to participate. A lot of the community groups have been, have been invited, and they're actually on board now listening. To take a couple questions, how effective are neighborhood watch groups? Well, I can stay here and certainly Mr. Small will say, and we've said it, that the reason why we keep doing it is because we get the encouragement from the groups. The police see the statistics, they see the crimes going down, they get the information, they get the intel coming. So from where I sit and from where Mr. Small certainly sits, we've echoed it time and time again. The watch group are critical. They are very effective in
Let me just draw a real life
crime.
experience. In Shogunas about probably 2-3 years ago, I had an experience where there was a police involved shooting, and the young men, after they shot at the police, a police officer was injured in that shooting.
Right.
They run through a particular community, a familiar community in the Shogunas area.
That's right.
And in about 10 minutes, the person would have leave from a particular area and in the next area. But the neighborhood watch, the persons, because we were able to alert them, in quick time they were able to share the information. And yard by yard, we were able to track that person until we captured them in a particular yard, and we were able to prosecute them and take them before the court. And one other thing, I know we're into the questions, but I just want to highlight this very critical point. When it is you go to the grocery stores or anywhere that you go and you have your children in the vehicle, you're not going to, please don't leave them in the vehicle alone. I saw just about 4 years ago, where I was previously attached in the Northeastern Division, and someone left a child in a car seat, went into a grocery store, somewhere around West Road, and came out and meet vehicle gone and child gone. And you know what? The bandit didn't even realize it had a child in the car seat. Wow. So it's only after he reached a good distance, he would have taken out the child from the car seat, and thank God somebody was passing on the road and they say they saw a car seat with a child, and that's how we were able to, thank God it wasn't a human trafficker, because that child might have ended up some part of the world or some, make sure, don't leave your children in the vehicles unattended, even if it's for a brief moment. Please refrain from, leaving them. In the US, it had a situation where a child was left in the car and they ended up dying.
Right.
Because of the heat.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right. Another question is, what is the process to create a watch group? Very simple. Contact the Secretariat. You can contact this number directly as well, 312-2281, 312-2281, or info@communitydefense.com, and say who you are, where you are. Many a times you contact the police station in your district, they will refer you to us. They will contact us and let us know that you're interested in starting. What is also happening is that through the National Crime Prevention Program, a lot of the operatives within the districts and within the zone, there are a number of persons working on the crime prevention program within communities, and they will also contact us and give us that kind of information. So there's a lot of opportunity and so on for you to get that information. So let's have a look. Could you comment on how the organization uses the concept of crime prevention through environmental design? It's really simple. By sharing the information about SEPTED to persons, they are better able to, especially those who now design in their homes, for people to cut their yard. So in other words, if we talk about the lighting, we talk about the footpath, we talk about different things that the criminal can use to secret, hide, punks on you. So we tell you all the things that you need to do to create that natural surveillance so that you can see them, other persons passing in the road can see them. Very simple. When you're in your kitchen, most kitchens are designed, we're actually looking out at the front gate. You don't even realize that, but in the design, you spend more time in your kitchen than anywhere else in the home sometimes, right? So while you're standing there washing wares or cooking, you can simply glance out through the window and you can sometimes see your front gate, where the balcony or the gallery and so on normally is at vantage points. So all of these things we teach you how to take advantage of that natural environment and be in a position to, we also tell you about cleaning and sanitizing your roads and the drains and all the areas where people may have access. We talk about cutting the grass in some abandoned lots and so on.
Abandoned lots, I was just getting there. You know, the abandoned lots, usually, in terms of criminals, most of the times you always see, you read an article where officers found a firearm or drugs or something in an abandoned lot. If it is you living next to any stolen items, if you live next to any abandoned lot, make sure that probably a local regional corporation or CPP or whoever responsible for cleaning the area, if it's a resident that's not living in Trinidad and whoever, try and maintain some kind of contact that you could make sure that, I mean, in terms of mosquitoes and health and all them things.
Well, what we do in neighborhood watch groups, I mean, we tell the community, listen, don't wait for the regional corporation. Sometimes you have good relationships, sometimes, right, they take a while. So what we do is we encourage them, listen, nothing stops 4 or 5 neighbors with weed whackers to come on Saturday morning and cut at least 10 feet from the wall of that person's house, dress back at least 10 feet from the pavement. They may not need to cut the whole 5,000 square feet, but certainly you can clear the areas closest to the home, the walls and so on, so it prevents the criminal from staging an attack from that close to your home. All right, but certainly communities have come together in places where they know the landowner, right? We've had situations where the landowner leave the required amount of funds for a whole year, right? If it's 200 a cut and you might do 2 cuts a month or one, they leave that by 12 and the persons take it upon themselves to cut it on behalf or for the landlord who is absent, the landowner. So there are a number of things that we initiate and get done. And what we also do is we have a very close relationship with the councillors and the persons who are responsible in the corporations and so on, because they also attend the station council meetings. And by attending, they have an idea of what are the issues that some communities have been raising. So that's where we are with that. Some people ask about setting up on the business. The business crime watch model is really designed for anywhere there's a strip of businesses. So it might be a short street, it could be in an entire community. If you have an interest and you feel 5 or 6 other businesses on that stretch or in that street have the same interest like you in finding a way to come together and communicate, because the criminals strike anyone. So if it is that all of you can come together and have a system in place to warn each other, right, ahead of time that something is happening, then that is what the neighborhood, the business watch is about. It's not rocket science, it's not difficult to do. There's nothing that stops it from happening, just willingness to come together, share information, and we will help you, guide you through the process of simple it is. So again, contact us and we'll be glad to tell you about how we can get active and get started. All right. So that's some of the things that we've been able to identify, and I'm not seeing any more questions. So, which one?
The factors of crime determine the severity of
the crime committed.
I mean, definitely, if it is you consider the factors of crime. For example, if it is your area, generally poor lighting, and creating the opportunity for crime to happen. I mean, when you think of a dark, lonely area, you usually think of incidents of probably rape, robbery, larceny from the person. So, again, going right back to the concept of SEPTED, consider the environment in terms of make sure if it is you realize that area poorly lit by street lights, contact the ANTEC 800 bulb, get them involved. You be active and vigilant in terms of making sure that your community is well secured, and it's such an environment that could prevent criminals from being comfortable. And I see this question here: the factors of crime, areas that are not lit can lead to the possibility of robberies. Can you touch on how to respond if driving and a person throws missile at your window? I mean, throwing missile is an offense. So if it is you see someone driving and they throw something at your window or throw something I mean, is really offense. You could take the vehicle registration number and report that incident to the police and let the police probably.
But I'm supposing the person is also asking. I know that there are certain things that we tell people. If you feel that a lot of the times what the criminal will do, they will throw an egg, because an egg have a little weight and it will travel some distance. So they will throw an egg. The egg will hit your windscreen when you're driving. Now the obvious thing for you to do when you see anything start on your windscreen, liquid, is to turn on the wipers and the water. Now if you do that with egg, what happens? It cakes the entire windscreen white. Okay? So they do that particularly to target people. I hope I'm not giving any criminals online ideas here now. You know that I always worry about that sometimes. Okay? So the point is, and I'm glad the person said if you see, because a lot of the times people are not paying attention to the sidelines, to the peripheral view, and they're just looking straight ahead as if, you know. So we want you to pay full attention to people standing on the roadside, doing anything that looks untoward, that you're approaching that person. Keep your eye on their hands, keep your eye on the activity, and certainly be in a position to do some sort of evasive move. And that's why we encourage you, when driving in particular, don't drive right up onto someone. If you cannot see the number plate or a little below the number plate, you are too close. What you do is you remain in such a position that you can see the bumper below the number plate, right? And once you can see the muffler at that level, it means you can pull out from behind that vehicle successfully and you're not too close that you're boxed in, all right? So it's important to be able to have all those evasive things that you can and cannot do. It also beckons that you adjust your rear view mirrors and your side mirrors effectively, so you can get a full, almost 360-degree view from looking forward, looking to the side, and looking backwards through your mirrors as well.
I just want to respond to this question here.
Yes.
Where they ask, how does a resident identify if a neighbor is involved in suspicious activity and is part of the neighborhood watch group? If it is you are aware that any neighborhood watch group that you are part of, you make sure notify us, the police officers who involved in the group, that we could ask the admin of the group to probably remove that person. Because I mean, generally, from experience with all the watch groups, is the residents that manage, they have like a street captain, somebody assigned to manage the WhatsApp chat and the group and that kind of thing. You make sure and bring it to that person's attention. They too, I mean, don't just leave it there. They will bring it to our attention and we can do some background check, pay some surveillance, and do the necessary in terms of trying to crack down on that illegal activity or that person involved in that illegal activity.
What we also see happening as well is some of the groups, especially when there are renters involved, who may be coming to the rent for a year or a few months, and they don't get to know these renters as well. So what they've done is they've added the homeowner to the chat and leave whatever information is passed within the chat. It is filtered through the homeowner and they decide whether the renter should get it or not. So you're not just adding renters willy-nilly to the chat and not knowing when to take them off and those sort of things. So there's a lot of work involved, but rest assured that we will guide you continuously in terms of what you know or what you need to know. So this is not the first, right? Persons who would have had more questions, who may have more things that are burning to pick up, right? So between now and our next session, which is on the 7th, okay, so next week we are here again at 6 p.m., right? In that installment, we'll sort of recap some of the key things that we've discussed here tonight, okay? So that it's not boring if somebody came here last week and wants to come again. But next week, we'll talk a little bit more about the business crime watch. We'll talk a little bit more to entrepreneurs and business people who are earning income through business, and they need to know what they can do to help better secure their businesses, to talk about the kind of things that they can do to make their employees and their fleet and all these things safer, and how to respond to a number of threats that criminals face, that they face from the criminal element, right? So we can talk on a number of issues that will be as wide and as broad as necessary to make sure that we give you all the information that you need to better secure yourself. So we want to thank you for this participating in this segment. It was really a pleasure being here, being host to so many of you all. I know that by next week, some of you will come back again, plus you'll tell your friends, your neighbors, and so on, get them registered, get them on board, and we'll have a much bigger, better turnout with a lot more questions, all right?
And the children, if it is the children home, feel free to allow them to tune in,
right?
And I will want to slip in something for the children next week.
Right, so we can. So we're gonna have another full session next week, You know, who knows, we might surprise you with some self-defense moves and little tactics and so on to really make you get off your feet and jump and so on. All right. So before the restaurant closes and you can't get your dinner, all right, and the restaurant is really mummy, we want to make sure that at least you get there and you have a nice evening. All right. So we hope that this has been informative. JC, thank you as often, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Over to you, Control.